Yeah. I gotta tell you, Jimbo, I'm exhausted. Flew in late to Kennedy Airport and they're doing construction on the Van Wyck.
No one beats the Van Wyck.
You can't beat the Van Wyck.
The Van Wyck.
All right. Here we go. Live from Food Buy Studios in New York City, it's the Hospitality Hangout Podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy.
And I have the privilege of welcoming you all more formally to the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders of Branded share their insights and bring technology and innovation and amazing restaurants, leaders that are making things happen in the industry you love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy, and I'll pass it back to my brother from another mother, Mr. Michael Schatzberg, a.k.a. the restaurant guy.
And thank you for that fine and kind introduction, Jimbo. Jim, I got to tell you, I'm exhausted with RFDC. I mean, that was a whirlwind, huh?
That was a hell of a show.
I got to tell you. But before we jump into it, because we got a great guest, somebody's calling me. I'm not answering it. I will put that phone, I will turn that phone over there.
Thanks for leaving the ringer.
You know what I learned, Jimbo, at RFDC?
What did you learn?
Well, first of all, the fountain was beautiful.
They brought a little Miami action to Vegas.
But it is on the wrong side of the strip.
Well, it's just way down the strip.
Yeah, when I flew home, needless to say, the plane was filled with RFDC people, right?
Yes.
And we all agreed that it was beautiful, but everybody felt like they were on a cruise ship. Like you were there and you just saw, anywhere you went, you just saw everyone, which is nice, yep. But there was no other people. It was just...
You didn't get off the boat.
And, you know, I took a little bit later flight and I realized that everyone was gone. Like everyone's kind of like leaving, you know, like the restaurants are empty, you know, we basically, anyway. But I did learn, what I did learn, it wasn't just that the fountain was on the wrong side of the strip. I also learned, Jimmy, that there are a lot of restaurants there, obviously, right?
Yes.
And I learned that food procurement, very important. If you don't have food, it's hard to operate a restaurant.
Tough to operate a restaurant without food.
And I got to tell you, I was with our friends from Food Buy, and you know, these guys are helping operators reduce costs by 15, 20%, $32 billion in buying power, Jim.
When I learned the buying power, I learned $32 billion. I have to say, I was very impressed by that. It's a lot of buying power.
It is. So I got to tell you, you know, if you can buy like McDonald's, like if you could buy French fries like McDonald's buys French fries, yes, you probably get a better price.
You think you get a break point with the break pricing?
Yeah, a quantity discount, if you will.
And they must offer that to everyone. All the manufacturers offer that to everybody, right?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. If you go to Costco, you're buying like 400 rolls of toilet paper, right? You get a better deal than if you go buy one at CVS, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I got to tell you, what I learned was from our friends at Food Buy is if you're a restaurant operator, you're not using Food Buy, you're leaving money on the table. That's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Jimbo, we got a great guest. Let's jump into it.
Yes, we do. Actually, I'm really excited for today's episode. Joining us, we have our friend, Mr. Jason Himber, CEO of Mina Group. How about that? You like apples, Shatsy?
I love
apples. Them apples, the CEO of Mina.
Michael Mina Restaurant Group. I got to tell you, Jimmy, I have eaten at many of their restaurants because I got to tell you, when we travel a lot, we're fortunate to have great restaurants on the road.
Yes.
They got some of the best.
Yes.
Because they're all over the place and great locations.
And sometimes we have an expense account, sometimes, which is always helpful. Listen, but we are going to get Mr. Himber into the show, but not yet.
No,
not yet.
Because
we launch our podcast, we release our podcast on Tuesdays. So we're going to play a little Trivia Tuesday. All of our listeners know how we play the game. I'm going to give you 3 factoids about our friend Jason. 2 of them are true. 1 is less than true, also known as a lie. Okay, and then at the end of the episode, Shakty's going to guess which is the 2 truths and which is the 1 not truth, a.k.a. the lie. I read these ahead of the show, Shakty. I have to tell you, they're short and snappy, so get ready. Factoid 1 about our friend Jason. Jason is an identical twin. And by the way, Shakty, no Googling, no LinkedIn stuff this time.
No, you don't use any ChatGPT now.
You cheated the last time.
It's like Google on steroids.
Jason has an identical twin. Fact 2, Jason was a child actor. Fact 3.
You're telling me there's 2 people in the world that are that gorgeous? There are 2 gorgeous people out there?
Jason had a Shabbat dinner with Steven Spielberg.
Wow, this is a good one. Wow. Child actor, identical twin.
Jason, child actor, Jason, you should about dinner with Spielberg. Okay, stick around.
I'm trying to think. I think I watched I'm trying to think of the show with who was the one with Mallory and Michael Keaton.
Family Ties.
Family Ties.
Yes.
I think Jason Himber was on an episode of Family Ties.
You know, by the way, that's,
I think Clooney was.
By the way,
Clooney on that?
Clooney,
Wasn't he on that? Wasn't he like the?
I don't know.
Oh no, he was on.
I think he was on Growing Pains.
Julie, can you help us here?
All right, no. By the way, Julie, don't give Shatzy the answer. All right, we're gonna move on. But at the end of the episode,
I did it with Spielberg. Jason, where do you live?
I live in Las Vegas, where you just came from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just obviously if he said like Los Angeles, I would that's
well, he lives in Las Vegas now. You didn't ask him where he grew up.
That's right.
No,
That's
And by
right.
the way, no giveaways. No, stop cheating. Okay, at the end of the episode, I'll put you on the spot. You're going to guess, and we move on. That's how we do this.
All right. Well, Jason Himber from Las Vegas, the president, CEO, and chairman of the Mina Group. I got to tell you, how does one become an executive of one of the most successful restaurant groups in all of the land, Jimmy?
I guess rather than ask Jason, you're going to tell us, Shatzy.
I'm going to tell you.
Because we thank Jason for his patience. We need just a little more.
Well, all those listeners out there that are saying, you know what, I'd like to be running the Michael Mina restaurant. I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you how.
You know what you got to start with? You got to be a bartender.
Well, yeah, at age 15.
I was an underage bartender, but not at 15.
You got to start, very young at age 15 at a tennis club or golf club, anywhere in that country club area.
Yeah.
Because that's where the rich and famous hang out.
At the club.
At the club. So you're at the club and you're meeting rich and famous people, right? And you know what happens when you meet rich and famous people?
I don't know.
You get a job at McDonald's at fry cook. Because that's what happens, okay? So I don't know who he pissed off. He pissed off somebody. Because he went from a bartender at the club, which you'd think from there, you'd be like, well, you're on your way. Someone meet you, hey, you want to work at Goldman Sachs or you want to be president of Texaco Oil? You know what I mean? But no. Becomes a fry cook at McDonald's, right? He's a host at Ruby's Diner, okay? You got to go get a bachelor's degree at USC, okay? You go to USC, all right, and you get a bachelor's degree.
We've had a lot of successful executives come out of USC. By the way,
USC they're spitting out executives like forget about it. And then UCLA, you get an executive program at UCLA in 2009. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds very, very expensive and very fancy, okay? You go to Wells Fargo, you dabble in banking, you dabble in banking.
Always want to be a banker.
Yeah. And then you realize I don't like banking because everyone realizes they don't like banking once they start banking. Jimmy, you were a banker.
I was a banker for a long time.
You've never said good things about banking.
I learned a lot.
I know you learned a lot. You learned you didn't like banking. That's what you learned about banking. But he wasn't sure. So he went to GE Capital because he's like, maybe Wells Fargo wasn't the right place for him. The logo, it's a wagon with horses and he's a horse lover. He didn't like that. So he goes to GE Capital and he doesn't like GE Capital. And he recognized, what he liked the best? He liked McDonald's. So he goes to Yum Brands, okay? He's at Yum Brands, and he's working there in development. He's got a very big title, Senior Director, Planning, Finance, and Development. Nobody even knows what that is, but it's a high-paying job, and he enjoys it, okay? He goes to CMG Companies. We don't know what CMG stands for, but it sounds very intense. He's the Chief Strategy and Growth Officer. They're there for 2 years. They're paying him more than they paid him at Yum Brands, right? And then he goes to be a speech therapist. I don't even know how that worked into it. I have no idea, but he'll tell us. Okay, and then after he did all that, you know what happens? CEO of Michael Mina. I got to tell you, I don't know what we got right, what we didn't get right, but I'm going to bring in right now. That's the wrong playing. Here we go. Let's bring in this. Here we go. Jason Himber, chairman of the board, Michael Mina Group. Tell us how we did.
Jason, how much did Shatzy get right there? Any of it?
No, you know what? That was fantastic. I don't think I could give a better elevator pitch myself. Man, Shatzy, I'm going to hire you to walk around and be my hype guy.
Thank you. Shatzy walking behind him.
I love it. I love it. Man, you killed it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys, for having me.
Thank you. They love having you here.
Jason, it's super fun to have you. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you for letting us dabble a little bit, play a little trivia ahead of the episode and share some factoids about you. Now let's really dive in.
Yeah, let's get to the serious stuff.
We know how important Mina is in terms of the Mina Group is in terms of working with hotels. And we've seen a massive rise in boutique hotels, and they are not really carrying your traditional F&B infrastructure. And I think that's where the Mina Group particularly excels. So from project management to design to accounting. How are you positioning the Mina Group as a plug and play kind of dining partner for these properties? Because I do think you guys are such an elite group in that regard, working with hotels.
Yeah, look, well, that's super kind of you to say. I think for us, look, coming out of the pandemic, right, we all saw that in kind of early 21, right, we started to see this euphoric wave of people going back out for dining, right? And I think one thing that we did that was very different than some of our peers is we said, you know what, we think dining has fundamentally changed, and not just consumer behavior, but also just, the employment landscape, right? What matters to employees, who's in the industry, what talent is available. So rather than sort of getting on the race to the finish, right, and just opening as many restaurants as we could and growing as fast as we could, we took a big pause. And the reality is we spent nearly 2.5 years without opening a single restaurant, which I think nearly killed Chef Michael. He was used to opening so many restaurants, and he's so motivated by and driven by opening new locations, right? He's the life of the party. So I think that really was hard for him. But at the same time, we used that time to really build up the infrastructure of the company and said, how can we be valuable to partners going forward beyond just saying, I got the best steak or I served the best pasta, right? So what we really found is that a lot of these organizations, frankly, big and small, lacked serious food and beverage infrastructure. And a lot of that is because I think, look, food and beverage in hotels for a very long time was an afterthought, right? It was like a necessary evil.
You had to have it, right? It wasn't you had to have it, right?
Exactly. It was all about heads in beds and like, okay, well, we'll put something downstairs because we have to feed something.
You need room service, right?
A million percent. And so we said, look, we think not only, can we serve great food in a great atmosphere, but we think we can help hotels fill the gaps that exist in their infrastructure if we do it on our side, right? And so that's what we did. And so, like you said, Jimmy, we built up everything from, real estate and development team to finance and accounting, HR. We literally can serve at this point as a fully outsourced food and beverage partner for somebody. So we could literally do all the back office and whatnot if you wanted us to, or we could just run a great restaurant.
I love it. I got to tell you, sticking on that kind of idea. I mean, guests today, they're like you said, they're looking for more than just going to eat. I mean, if you want to eat, there's great options on I'll say the QSR, the fast casual space. I know my kids, they love to just order from the phone and then they'll just go grab and sit at a counter, not speak to anybody, or they'll just take it, get it in their house. It's almost like the younger you get, the lazier you get. I thought I was lazy until I hung with my kids. It's like, hey, across the street to Chipotle, they won't even do that. They're like, Dad, they bring it to me. I'm like, they charge you. It's not free. You know what I mean? Well, it's free for them, I guess, because they're using my credit card. But anyway, adults today are looking, people going out to nice restaurants are looking for more than that. I mean, we see today, I know on the Upper East Side where Jimmy and I live, Ralph Lauren, great retail, but now he's got Ralph's Coffee there. You know what I mean? Ralph Lauren, and it's packed every day. Everyone's out there sitting, Ralph's Coffee, So you've got these now it's really blurred the lines, and the great operators are not just restaurants, but Louis Vuitton, handbags and super deluxe, super luxury, they're now selling food and restaurants, right? And restoration hardware. I mean, used to be, the experience of buying, furniture and this whole experience of making your house look great. Now they're having restaurants and cafes and things like that. So what other exciting opportunities do you see in F&B that go beyond what we just know is, like you said, just sitting down and having a great meal?
Yeah, look, I think you nailed it.
I did.
And I'm not. Look, I don't say that. If you heard any surprise in that an upward inflection, there was none, because I expected that from you, Michael. But look, I think I keep telling people what I honestly believe. I honestly believe this is the single most exciting time in food and beverage that I've seen in my whole career. And I say that because I think for so long, the reality is that food and beverage or restaurants, right, were thought as kind of the four walls of the box, right? And that's where you went and that's where you ate your meal. And then where you played or where you shopped or where you did those other things, those were all distinct experiences, right? And now we're living in a world, right, where all of that's getting mashed together. You see, chicken and pickle, right? People serving rotisserie chicken tied out, to pickleball. You see all the rise of Eater-tainment concepts that are happening. As you mentioned, brands like Louis Vuitton and Restoration Hardware, all these places. It's funny. You don't see restaurants bringing handbags into the restaurant, but you see the high-end luxury, right, bringing food into the high-end luxury, right?
Area. There should be.
Yeah, exactly. But I love it because I honestly now, when you ask about where is it going, I think the sky's the limit, right? Because in reality now, people are saying, look, everybody likes to shop, everybody likes to do outdoor activity and whatnot, but they also love to eat and drink. And so now, where food and beverage starts and stops, to me, there's no end. And that's why I think this is so exciting, because there's this whole new frontier that's sort of awoken. And I think we could go anywhere with it.
But I will say, I don't mind, because I know like with Ralph Lauren, I know that they don't run their food and beverage operation. At the end of the day, they want to do it because it's part of their, that whole branding, it's part of the whole, what's what I'm looking for, Jimmy,
experience.
But it's more, it's like you're creating a, Julie,
it's their ethos, it's their aura. Yeah.
You're creating a whole lifestyle. That's what I want, lifestyle. So at the end of the day, they want to do it. So they have to find someone like you guys or some of these other great groups to help them manage and run it and curate the menus and get the chefs. Because then they want to do it and use their brand, but they don't know how to do it. And so I think it creates opportunities for folks like yourself.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And look, one of the things that I try really hard at in our business is I think, you see a lot of people, not just in our space, but in other businesses that try to be all things to all people, right? And one of the things we've really tried to do with Mina Group is know who we are and know the value we provide, right? I am not the right guy to run your pickleball company, right? And to curate your or your tennis experience, whatever. But I can provide the best food you've ever had. Right.
Do you play pickleball? That's the question.
I'm learning, but I got to tell you, they make that look so easy on TV, and I just see these crazy rallies. Meanwhile, 6 minutes in, my knees hurt, my back hurts. I mean, I don't know how people do this.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't want to digress too much, but I have a theory. We talked about this last week. It's the Orthopedic Surgeons Association. They are building all these courts.
Yes,
and they're sponsoring everything. Yeah, because everyone is blowing out knees and ankles, and it's just a flywheel. It's HSS. There's a line out the door here in Manhattan. It's just, how did you hurt yourself? Pickleball. Everyone is just a pickleball injury.
You know what? We should, they always talk about how do restaurants decide where to put their real estate. I think you're onto something, Chassis. Maybe we should open an urgent care next to every pickleball location. 100%. And we would just push it. We push it.
Age over there now, it's 60. There's no one at HSS having any injuries from football or the old. They're all in their 60s. What happened? Oh, pickleball. Everyone's becoming an athlete at 65. Oh yeah, I haven't done any sports in 25 years.
Careful, Shatsy. The real estate community might be really upset with you if you pick on pickleball, because right now they're one of the super users of all the empty office space.
I think balls are turning into pickleball.
They're all pickleball all the time. Listen, I want to go back to the F&B expansion that you guys were just talking about, and to me, the blurring of lines, and really just there's so much optionality. For diners and guests to enjoy food and beverage, but at the end of the day, I still think I want to bring it back to the four walls. Our partner Dean is a real estate guy, and he likes to remind us.
Can you mention last names on podcast?
I think we're about to. Our friend, our partner, our brother from another mother, Dean Palin, high school buddy, college buddy of yours.
Give a shout out.
Dean likes to remind us, particularly when it comes to our restaurants, you pay rent 24 hours a day. You ought to be thinking about how you can make money.
Dean's thinking that he's collecting rent 24 hours a day, by the way.
Well, yes.
That's the way he's looking
at it. As a restaurateur,
he's sleeping and he's I'm collecting rent right now.
But as a restaurateur, you pay rent 24 hours a day. You pay for the day. So how much can you use the space?
Restaurateur's crying.
And I think about hotels and these incredible, typically large kitchens. And yet, for many of them, those kitchens stay dormant for a meaningful part of the day. Yet you walk around hotels, and Chats, you and I travel a ton, and you see these, Uber delivery and DoorDash delivery folks in the lobby. You see hallways, littered with empty pizza boxes or to-go things that they ordered in, they picked up, and they put outside the room. So my question to you, Jason, what can hotels be doing to keep guests ordering food on premise? How do we turn what can we do with the facilities and the infrastructure that these hotels have with their kitchens and turn them into more, late night Domino's or Chick-fil-A's? What can we do with this?
I say just don't let any third party delivery providers in my hotel. And I'll get into that, Jimmy.
I like that. You know what? Look, I think that's probably the golden answer. But to your point, Jimmy, it makes me laugh, right? Because hotels have actually, many of them now, right? When you go there, you'll see they've literally set up a table, right, where third-party delivery companies can drop off food. And to me, what could be more insulting, right, than to actually welcome them in, welcome in other revenue sources into your property, right, versus go after it yourself. And I understand that, in hotels, right, the labor model is complicated and oftentimes expensive. There's unions and whatnot in many different states. However, like you said, you've got these massive kitchens. And the reality is the food that people are ordering a lot of times isn't necessarily, they're not ordering Michelin star food, right? They're ordering wings and burgers and whatnot. So why can't hotels think about ways to create their own unique, really high quality concepts and have their own kind of quote unquote virtual kitchens or whatnot out of their own kitchens, right? You could easily create branded concepts within your own hotel and be serving high end food out of branded concepts and erase all of that third party delivery business that's happening. So to me, I really think there's something worth exploring there. And it would be a great way to make more revenue, around the clock.
Yeah, I like it. I got to tell you, I agree. But it seems like you see a lot more of that kind of situation in the hotels that are less frills, right? The courtyards, the high end hotels. I think a lot of the guests that go to the high end hotels do enjoy a really great dining experience, looking for a great bar and a couple great restaurants. I think that's where you guys fill in. But when you go to the lesser expensive, the more, like I said, those courtyards of the world and the Spring Hills of the world, I think it's more budget conscious, get in, get out, and and a Domino's pizza sounds pretty good sometimes, right? You know what I mean? And it's pretty easy. But let's switch over to technology. Let's talk about tech. When you joined the Mina Group after you were at Wells Fargo and GE Capital, and you hated it, and you went to Mina, and look at the smile on Jason's face. He's having a good time. He's so much happier now.
His friends from Wells Fargo and GE are like, Jason, we thought you liked you liked your time. He probably could have been his significant other.
He has friends. His wife is from Wells Fargo. He met his wife there. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, you inherited quite a tech landscape, a Frankenstein, we like to call it. You had 9 different point of sale systems. I don't know how that happened, but we'll learn, right? So you had to get in there, and we see this a lot. We see this a lot, especially when if you acquire brands and things like that. You end up with this Frankenstein tech stack. You've streamlined everything to Toast, which is a great point of sale system. Our restaurants here in New York, we switched everybody to Toast. We love Toast. We think they do a great job, especially in the fine dining or what did I learn? I learned a great word. Polished casual.
Polished casual.
Oh, I love just saying polished casual.
I told JG, I told Jack we'd give him a shout out if we said polished casual.
Jack Gibbons, FB Society. He calls it polished casual. I said, Jack, we're giving you, footnote, Jack. Yeah, listen, I got to tell you, polished casual, but it seems like a lot of the technology solutions are really focused on QSR. They're focused on, sure, I could sell Mina Group with his, 30, 40 restaurants, whatever it is, but I'd much rather sell McDonald's, look at the addressable market so much bigger. So everyone seems to be focused there. What is an independent restaurant operator? What is a guy that's got like multiple units, but maybe, it's not hundreds of these, it's just maybe 1 or 2 of those and 1 or 2 of those. What do you really need to run your business from a tech standpoint? What is the tech you have to have?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a couple of things.
So one, Julie wrote the question.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Julie, good question, Julie.
Well done.
Well, I think a few things. So one, look, you obviously need a POS system, right? And so we taught, as you mentioned, we've got our POS system now homogenized using the Toast platform. And within that POS system, I think, one of the things that's super important with independence, obviously, is we have a very high degree of customization of orders, right? It's not just, remove the cheese or remove the pickle, right? That's part of the challenge in our business is that every order almost has some level of customization to it, right?
Everyone has 2X today.
Yeah. Well,
America only though.
yeah. I mean, look, if
Italy,
four people,
no celiacs.
it's crazy, right? Nowadays, statistically, right? If 4 people go out to dinner, one's a vegan, one's gluten-free, one's a carnivore, and one God knows what, and so, that's what happens now, right?
That's me. Jimmy God knows what.
Yeah. So there you go, right? So I say that because you need a POS that can be flexible in that way. I do think one of the things that's very important for independent restaurants is having some type of loyalty platform and or kind of CRM database, because look, for us, and I think it's true with most restaurants, right, that repurchase frequency and return business is the heart, the lifeblood of surviving in this industry, right? And so for that, I think we've got to be able to know who our customer is. And that also allows us to provide them a much more hyper-personalized, individualized experience, right? So I think those 2 things, to me, above all else, are the most important things you need from a technology standpoint.
I think Jason just gave what I think call a politician's answer. He basically didn't say anything.
I disagree with you.
He didn't say anything.
I'm gonna defend Jason.
What did he say? He said he has a point of sale toast.
Actually,
I'm looking for what else he's using. He didn't say anything.
I'll tell you the rest. I'll tell you the rest of the good, the bad.
I'm going to defend you, Jason, but you defend yourself.
No, Jimmy, I appreciate you trying to salvage my honor here. But, look, today we have got many other things as well, right? We've got a marketing a platform. We use Klaviyo that sits on top of things. We're using Power BI for business intelligence and analytics.
Now he's dropping knowledge.
So we
wanted to give his secret sauce to the competition.
Yeah, look, I mean, we spent a lot of time undoing the mangled Frankenstein, as you said. I don't want to give away the keys to how to do that, right?
So, what you should be doing, tell people what you're not using.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell people you tested, you hated, and tell them, all the companies you vetted and you didn't like, say that's what you use right now.
That would not be good.
All the competition goes out of business.
I just want to say that's not good for that would not necessarily be good for our show or even Jason's
There's only one restaurant company left in America. It's the Mina Group.
But so here's what I'd be curious to understand, from you guys, because you're way closer even to tech than I am nowadays, right? So one of the challenges that I still see in this industry is, for my opinion, right, in the last 5 years, there's more tech that has hit this industry than probably in the last 50 years combined. Okay.
Yes.
And I think the tech is incredible, right? But here's still the issue that I see in our industry, which is there is a large gap of user experience, or I should say user understanding, right? Because you could give me tech that produces 300 reports. Great. But if I don't have somebody to take that tech and operationalize it, what good is it? It's not helpful.
I'm agreeing with you.
We had that conversation just this weekend at the RFDC.
We meet with technology companies that will brag about the extent of the comma-separated value file to the CSV, whatever. And I'm like, 70% of the restaurants in this country are independents and mom and pops. And I go, who do you think at that company is taking those CSV files and actually do anything with it? So I agree with you. It's got to have an application that is easy to use and is very tactical
and actionable.
What I heard Jason talk about, and I wish more restaurateurs would buy into this, is he quickly started talking about personalized marketing and the loyalty and how to engage with guests. Because I do think we talked earlier in this episode about how many choices and options guests now have. Therefore, when they're going to go out to spend money, who are they thinking about? And I'm telling you, they're going to think about that restaurant that found a way to give them a good experience and then stays top of mind by communicating with them and make them think, hey, we're thinking about you, Johnny or Janie. You had this dish with us. That was a special. It's back on the menu.
Who's Johnny?
Johnny and Janie. Those are my generic man, woman.
I don't even know you know a Johnny or a Jane.
I definitely know a Johnny and a Janie.
I know you a long time. I've never heard you mention Johnny or Jane.
Well, listen, you know who I'm going to mention right now?
Right.
Julie. You know why? Because clearly I did something right at RFDC because Julie gave me the breaking news. Usually it goes to Shad.
I hear it coming in right now, Jimmy. I see it on the wire, but you're going to break it.
I get to break the news. The Mina Group will be opening its first location in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, Mina Group is showing up. We know the Mina Group has historically been U.S. focused. So this is a big milestone. Jason, can you share with us what made you choose Saudi for your first your international venture? And I
want to know what concept you're opening up.
What concept and what's next? So this is big news. I feel very lucky. I get to break it. Jason, tell us about Saudi.
Yeah, no, look, we're incredibly excited. For a long time, Michael has wanted to really kind of take the show on the road, right, and to have an international presence. But I think, look, there's so many numerous challenges, right? When you go out of the United States, everything from permitting to IP protection to quality and training and talent, all of it, right? So I think for a long time, Michael really felt like we just didn't have the infrastructure and the team to do it. And I think he's got the confidence now that we can go do that and we could do it in a great way.
You know why? You know why he feels that way?
Tell me.
Because he's got Mr. Himber on board. He didn't feel that way when Himber was at GE Capital
5 years ago. He didn't feel that way.
Feels it now.
Guys, I'm going to be riding on cloud nine all day thanks to you guys. So I appreciate this.
I won't have a job tomorrow either. But listen,
this will get me through those moments when my wife reminds me how bad I am at everything else. So I'm going to leave.
You let her call me.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So how Saudi? Look, we've been looking at the Middle East for a little while, and I'm sure you all have seen. The Middle East is just absolutely exploding as far as food and beverage goes. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Every hotel, not one location. Most hotels have 3 or 4 or 5 locations. The top brands, I mean.
And look, they don't have the challenge, obviously, that exists in the United States where you have a lot of legacy brands that are a little tired and maybe in the wrong spot. Everything they open is new and beautiful and amazing, and it's in the right location, right? And so it's just incredible to see what's going on there from a hospitality standpoint. I mean, look, I think there's a ton of white space there still, right? The population there is absolutely exploding. And one of the things that fascinated me that I learned about in Saudi is that their population is actually getting younger and younger and younger every single year. They're starting to, pretty soon, they're going to have one of the largest populations of people under 30 anywhere in the world. And so it's really fascinating to see the growth that's happening there. And so really, look, it's that growth of population with the consumer segment that we're really going after, coupled with, there being a lot of capital options behind food and beverage out there. And so we're opening a restaurant out there called Talid, which is an offshoot of a concept we have called Orla. And so what's going to be really cool about this is it's a Middle Eastern-focused Mediterranean restaurant, but specifically we're opening it up in an area called Diriyah, which is actually the birthplace of the Saudi kingdom. And so, to do that, Michael's actually created some dishes that really kind of pay tribute to Saudi culture and whatnot. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be we're partnering with Marriott Luxury Collection out there, a brand new hotel that's opening, and
nice.
So super excited about that.
I love it. I got to tell you, that is super cool. I got to tell you, Jimmy, before we go, we got to take a quick break right now. I'm getting a note here from the producer. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back because I got to tell you, we got to move on to some Hot or Not, one of the greatest segments in all of podcast history. I got to tell you. So stay tuned. Be right back, everybody. And we are back. Okay, here we go. And I got to tell you, Jimbo, we are back right now. We're going Hot or Not. Mr. Jason Himber, Chairman, CEO, President, Innovator of the Mina Group.
Give it a lot of titles.
A lot of titles. Are you ready for a little? Oh, wait, we're not doing Hot or Not. Are we doing Hot or Not?
Yeah, we're doing Hot or Not.
Yeah, we're doing Hot or Not, right? All right, here we go. Hot or Not. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hot or Not, Instagram-focused specials.
Oh, hot, very.
Breakfast for dinner. Hot or not?
I want to say not.
Buy one, get one discounts. BOGOs.
Not in my space, but in just about every other segment.
BOGOs at the Mina Group. I'd be there all the time.
Yeah.
Celebrity chefs.
Hot.
I would think so. Jimmy, we got some Hot or Not. What do you want to pick?
Yeah, well, if my 8-year-old daughter was the guest, I would be challenging this breakfast for dinner, because I have to tell you, Sylvie loves breakfast for dinner, but
she doesn't like pancakes.
Right, doesn't like French toast pancakes for dinner.
Waffles,
but since she's not the guest and Mr. Himber is, I want to go to the Instagram comment, because I think first of all, there's still a generation that may not be understanding or appreciating the digitization and the importance of social media for the hospitality industry. So maybe Jason, I think Gen Z knows it fully and is embracing it fully, and they are the fastest growing and becoming a very meaningful part of the consumer market. But for all generations, can you comment on why you jumped on the Instagrammable moments, Instagrammable specials as being something that's hot for you and the Mina Group?
100%. Now, look, I think much to the chagrin of the fabulous girl, the woman that leads marketing for us, I am not myself, the guy that's posting pictures of me doing the laundry at every restaurant I go to and whatnot. But I do love to look at things. But, somebody said this to me, so I do not take credit, but I believe it firmly, which is we live in the FOMO generation right now. And that's what Instagram does better than anything on earth. Everybody wants to take a photo and show the world, look what I got that you don't. Right? Oh. Look at what I got access to, or look at the dish I got, or look who I'm sitting with, or look where my seats are. We live in a world where everybody wants to
so much more
create envy
right now.
Everybody wants to create envy, right? And I think anybody that denies that just isn't really watching what's going on. And so that's why I think we really live in that world and that generation right now, and it's critical.
I don't know if this is inappropriate, but when I used to see guests at full service, fine dining restaurants taking pictures of food, I would lean over and I'd say, food porn. They're doing food porn. Yeah. I don't know if that's appropriate, but the truth is, I know
it's appropriate in this podcast.
The people that were doing that were ahead of the time, because now I see so many more people. When that dish comes out and it's presented, before they pick up the fork and the knife, they take out their phone and they take a picture of that food and they quickly start, posting it. Like, as you said, Jason, look where I am. I'm in a wonderful Mina restaurant and I'm enjoying this delicious, beautifully plated dish. And here I am, and you're not here.
I don't mind taking the picture. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I do mind people are coming in like with lighting equipment. Like in the middle of my dinner, I'm going to have a nice dinner. I'm trying to enjoy the experience that Jason put together with the music and the lighting and the atmosphere and the ambiance. And then somebody next to me has like this LED giant lighting everything. It's kind of like using the light on your phone to read the menu.
You get mad when I do that.
Because you know what? It's really bright. It ruins the whole. I'm like, turn that on. It's terrible. I don't like it. Right. And there's a solution for that, Jimmy. You don't need the white. Well, glasses, and you don't have to. You can dim your light on your phone. You don't have to have the sun.
Oh, really? It's
100%.
dimmable.
It's dimmable, yeah. And there's also apps that have a different color, so you can bring like a soft hue.
This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Apple.
Yeah,
Apple.
Yeah, there's a soft hue to it. Jason, am I right? You know what I'm talking about.
You are right. I'm impressed. You sound like an amateur photographer, though, in your spare time. I think I'll take your class sometime on the Apple Store.
Yeah, no, I do know. Oh, I think we did. We were at Bourbon Steak at IFMA, actually. At the Fairmont, we were at Bourbon Steak.
And you didn't even let me know. I mean, I'm
letting you know now. I'll send you my bill, and you can give me credit.
No. Fair enough. That'll be your BOGO for the year, Shatsy. There you go. That'll be your BOGO.
No, we always go to that one. We had a great meal. The place I got to tell you, that place was jumping, by the way. And what I recognized, it seemed like a lot of people not from the hotel were coming to eat there. It seemed like it was a destination for people from all over Scottsdale.
Yeah, that's a fun spot. Particularly, it'd be fun to have y'all come out and do a show. When the Waste Management Phoenix Open golf tournament is going on. It is. I'm not afraid to say it is the degenerate capital of the world at that point in time, but it is absolutely fantastic.
Do you know like a hospitality tent there or something?
We do some stuff on the course, and then we do stuff at the restaurant every single night till the wee hours of the morning. It is a blast.
I love it. That is
You know what I think Jason just did?
What?
He threatened us with a good time.
Yeah, by the way, the Phoenix Open one, is that on 18 that they throw beer all over the place?
I think it's 16. Yeah, the loudest hole in golf. Yeah, fantastic.
It's kind of like golfers not supposed to be loud. He's on the first hole. He's putting now for a birdie. Like usually, it's like he looks like he has his wedge. Like it's
how much more fun is golf when you have to putt around empty Jack Daniels bottles and whatnot?
Yeah, no, it is a lot of fun. I gotta say, it looks to me, I hear some music coming on, Jimmy. Jimmy, is that The Price is Right?
Old school Price is Right. I gotta tell
you, we got The Spice is Right, Mr. Jason Himber. Are you ready to play a little Spice is Right?
Let's do it.
Against Jimmy, and Jimmy's very good.
I've been pretty good.
All right, listen. In celebration of your job at McDonald's as a fry cook after you got fired as a bartender at that fancy club of yours, okay, let's just test your menu knowledge, okay? So you're going to go head-to-head with Jimmy. It's Spice is Right, McDonald's Happy Meal. Jimmy knows a lot about the Happy Meal because he's got a 7-year-old.
Yes.
Jason, you have children?
I do. I've got 3 of them.
How old?
10, 6, and 4. So every day in my house is a prison riot.
Did you see how to think about that? Oh, you got 10, but the 6 and the 4, he was like, I mean, he was thinking.
Well, you know, the thing is, I keep sending one out to pasture every day, and they keep finding their way back. So I have to remember if I still have 3 or 2.
Those kids are like
I can't remember how many I have.
Those kids are like dogs. You can't get rid of them.
They're like homing pigeons. Yeah, they just make their way back no matter what I do.
Where do I live? And they find you. All right, listen, here we go. We're playing McDonald's Happy Meal edition of The Spice is Right. Okay, we're talking about the 4-piece Chicken McNugget Happy Meal. Okay, that includes, Jimmy, you know this.
Yeah,
4 McNuggets,
small fries,
a kid's fries, small fries, apple slices,
and a juice or a water.
Jimmy, I mean, is this Sylvie getting this or are you getting this?
Well,
because you know a little bit too much about this.
We had some road trips. We've gotten our fair share of Happy Meals.
Jimmy, you're getting that. Jimmy gets, how many Happy Meals do you get? 4?
You know what the good thing is? Somebody doesn't finish even the Happy Meal.
So it's chocolate milk, a milk or an apple juice, and of course the toy. Okay, so that's what we're getting. Okay, here we go. Closest without tax and tipping, you know, all the other stuff. Okay, McDonald's Times Square location in New York City. Oh, Jimmy, you have to guess.
I'll go first. I already wrote down my price.
Go.
$6.95.
$6.95. I'm writing it down. Mr. Timber, sir, what would you like to guess on the kids' Happy Meal, the Nugget Happy Meal?
I'm going to say $7.75.
I think we're both high.
$7.75.
I don't know. Everything in New York seems to be 2x what I pay out in Vegas.
I got to tell you, we do have a winner. We do have a winner. It is Mr. Jimmy, $7.29.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Jason went over just by a little bit. Okay. But I got to tell you, we do have a winner. It is Mr. Jimmy.
You know what? I think if I lost that one, I think I'd be in trouble with my daughter. So,
Jimmy, you have anything to say about? Do you want to tell everybody the speech?
I would just like to thank my daughter for her commitment to the Happy Meal.
Yeah, I mean, she's really, I got to tell you, she has really helped you out here tremendously. Yes, that was great. Yeah, but I mean, do you think what was the Happy Meal like? Is that like a big inflationary thing that's $7.29, or is that a good value still? What do you think?
As I was saying the number, to me, it actually sounded high considering the Happy Meal used to be, let me tell you who's not driving the car to the Happy Meal, the kid that's eating the Happy Meal. So if the kid likes the Happy Meal, wants that toy, the parents have to take him, and then the parents spend money on the real items. So when I even said $6.95, I was like, it seems high for the meal, but clearly I was pretty close.
But $7 for a meal sounds like a pretty good deal.
Look, you know what? It's a great deal.
But what about remember the dollar menu?
Yes. To bring it back to dollar menu.
What is that crazy noise? All right, here we go, Jimbo. You got to get back to your match game.
At the top of the show, remember we played Trivia Tuesday, and I gave 3 factoids about our friend Jason. Factoid 1: Jason has an identical twin. Fact 2: Jason was a child actor. Fact 3: Jason had Shabbat dinner with Mr. Steven Spielberg. Shatsy, what says you?
Okay, I think that. Wow, this is really hard because, I mean, identical twin. Sure, Jimmy, you could have an identical twin. I mean, anybody. I mean,
anyone can, but not a lot of people do. Right. Also,
an identical, not twin, right?
I said words matter. You didn't say twin. Identical twin.
So you're saying there's someone out in the world that looks exactly like this guy?
Yes. By the way, do you know those kids on Full House? Those the Olsons. By the way, it's good to have an identical twin child actor. You got to keep them working.
Yeah, I got to go back to my notes here.
Absolutely.
I don't think that he was a. Jesus. All right, I don't think he has an identical twin. I say he was a child actor. And he had Shabbat dinner with Steven Spielberg. What I'm thinking is he was a child actor, okay? And Steven Spielberg, loved him so much. Like, oh, my God, this is great. I mean, I'm doing a movie, and he's thinking like E.T. or something. And he's like, come over for Shabbat dinner. We're going to talk to you about the new role. I mean, he didn't get it. Yeah. But that's what I don't think it's an identical twin.
I think you might have mixed up the... Jason's a young gentleman. Drew Barrymore was the E.T. character. I think you're aging Jason a little bit, but I like what you did.
Well, but I'm giving you the framework of how that. I don't think he's an identical twin. I think he's a child actor, and he wasn't a very good child actor. I didn't say he was a good actor.
Now you're knocking his act. You gave him actor, and you're knocking it. All right, you know what, Jason? Shatsy went with child actor and Shabbat dinner with Mr. Spielberg. What says you? What's the truth? What's the lie?
It is not true that I had Shabbat dinner with Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
However,
it's a great dinner.
however, it was very close to happening because I was a child actor and I was on a Steven Spielberg show. And when you're a kid, you always have to have an adult on set. So on that day, I had my 81-year-old grandmother with me on set, and she spent all afternoon sitting next to Steven Spielberg trying to get him to come to Shabbat dinner at her house. So Steven declined as politely as possible. But when he said no to Shabbat, she moved on to Passover and then Hanukkah. And I think they changed the rules about bringing an adult to set after my grandmother was there with Steven all day.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Spielberg was inviting you. Yeah, your grandmother inviting Spielberg. Yeah, he's like,
I appreciate Nana Himber was asking for the
She was going after it, man.
And can you tell us what movie that was?
So that was actually a TV show that Steven Spielberg did for a couple years called High Incident. Actually, Cole Hauser from Yellowstone was on that. There are a couple other big people that were part of that. But yeah, we did a bunch of soap operas and commercials. It was funny you mentioned the Olsen twins because this is when being a twin was great. And my parents monetized me just like they did to Macaulay Culkin. They took all my money, just like they did to him. But, it was fun while it lasted. So we did a bunch of TV shows and commercials. I got my SAG card and then my illustrious acting career came to an end.
There you go. I love it.
I got to tell you, man, I think you got to get back into acting. I like it. I mean, I'm telling you.
Well, I think for the good of the hospitality community, I like Jason in the CDS. That's what I like.
I appreciate that.
It's a great story. And is Nana still alive?
She unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, so she is not. But I'll tell you what, she gave us enough stories to last us a lifetime, so we remember her in that way.
I'm going to find out how to get in touch with Mr. Spielberg, and I will reach out on your behalf to once again ask him to have Shabbat dinner at the Himbers.
Yes.
I love that. I love that idea. We'll make it worth his while, I promise.
Let's keep this going,
Chachi, do me a favor. If you get in contact with Spielberg or one of his people,
I'll get in contact.
How about you ask him to be on the show? How about before we have him send him a dinner at Jason's house? How about get him on the podcast?
I'm planting
the show and then Shabbat. Yeah.
I'm planting the seeds. Maybe we do the podcast at Shabbat at the Himbers with Spielberg.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Right?
And you know what? And Michael will cook the Shabbat dinner for us. Right?
Dinner. Okay. Julie, we're doing podcast gold over here.
There you go.
Shabbat dinner at the Himbers with Spielberg. I mean, this is gold, baby. I love it. All right. Let's jump into the branded quick. won't let anybody from that company hear this, okay? What is your Uber rating right now, sir? What is your Uber rating?
I think it's like a 4.7 or 8. I probably talked too much to the Uber drivers, and I probably pissed a couple off. So that's probably why it's not a 5.
Really? 4.7? Yeah. That's actually lower than me, and I'm low.
I'll bet right now he's higher than a 4.7.
Can you check?
I'll bet right now.
Yeah. You want me to check real quick?
Jimmy, how are you?
I'm a 4.86.
Yeah, but when was the last time you looked? By the way, I was just with Jimmy in Vegas.
Was that polite?
And I'm seeing Jimmy. We asked this question a lot, and Jimmy is clearly trying to up his Uber rating because he's so freaking nice to the Uber drivers now. He's like bringing food and drink into the Uber.
Offering them coffee.
Yeah.
I've moved up. Guys, this is breaking news. I've moved up, apparently. I'm a 4.94.
There you go. I knew you. Jason, you're too nice a guy that would be a 4.8.
This is just coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just coming over the wires. Mr. Jason Himber, CEO and chairman of the Mina Group, is a
4.94.
4.94. One of the highest Uber ratings of all the hospitality hangout guests we've ever had. Jason, how do you do it? What are you doing special that you're getting such a high rating?
I'm reading a lot of self-help books.
I got to tell you, listen out there, all you kids out there, a lot of self-help. I'm a 4.81 and I'm verified, but that's still not very good. All right, if you were going to challenge Jimmy Rye to a game of rock, paper, scissors, who do you have better odds of beating? Rock, paper, scissors, Jimmy Rye. Who can you beat in rock, paper, scissors?
You know, the only reason I think I'm going to say you, Shatsy, is because Jimmy seems so methodical, like he's going to really think about it, and I feel like you're just going to throw, and I will.
I may not remember. I was remember the 3 choices.
I don't even know what that. I'm like, what? I don't even know what a rock is. I think I know the rock, the paper, the rock, the paper, and the scissors.
Jimmy's going to throw like tree branch or something, and it's going to end the game. So
yeah, I would agree. Jimmy has a much better track record on winning that dare. By the way,
yes, I'm also very competitive.
All right, Jimbo, take us home. We got to it's 12 o'clock. We got to get Jason out of here because we got to take another break and get him out of here.
And Jason has restaurants to open and get guests to
flight to Saudi Arabia.
Guests like to surprise and delight. Jason, we want to thank you so much for being on the podcast with us. We love what you're doing and the whole Mina Group is doing. We enjoy your restaurants, but also love the leadership you guys are doing, displaying in the full service high-end industry and the space, and just the value you bring to the hotels and the properties that you work with. If any of our listeners want to get in touch with Jason directly, you can email the podcast team at podcast@brandedstrategic.com. We'd be happy to connect you, or you can find out more at michaelmina.net. That's www.michaelmina.net to learn all about their portfolio and probably some news and updates that's going on. But they're just an awesome, awesome company, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, I went. We were in Napa Valley. And I went, and we were with Jeff Alexander, actually. I don't remember what event we were at. And he's like, oh, I got dinner reservations. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. You know, we usually like to eat near the hotel. It doesn't have to be in the hotel, but near. We drove to Sonoma. You got a great restaurant in Sonoma. I forget the name. What is that?
Wisdom. Yeah, Wisdom. Great restaurant.
I'm in the Uber. It's like now 45 minutes. I'm like, where are we going? He's like, it's in California. And I'm like, there's Napa Valley, there's Sonoma. They're not the same thing, He just kind of.
It's a lovely drive.
It was it was dark. It was not lovely, but it was a great restaurant. We had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's really fun to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, it was great having you. Listen, everybody, appreciate you. Check us out at the hospitality. By the way, last thing I want to say, if you're not reading our newsletter every week, by the way, and Jason, are you getting our newsletter?
I'm getting your newsletter.
Oh, good. HospitalityHeadline.com. Check it out every Saturday morning. Just loaded with nuggets of information and joy and happiness. Jimmy does all the writing. I get all the credit. I love it. So cheers, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks.